Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Really Ghost Thief Gold. If you're interested in getting in on some of this Thief Gold action, but you've been deterred by the difficulty of running Thief on a modern system, I have some great news for you. Go to GOG.com, which stands for GoodOldGames.com. If you're familiar with their website, their whole business model is selling classic PC games that have been tweaked to work on modern systems with minimal, if any, adjusting. And they just made Thief Gold available on January 31st for the low price of $10. Believe me when I say it's worth every penny, especially because you can do a clean install on 64-bit Windows 7 and it works just fine. It's wonderful. Go buy it, go buy it, go buy it. Show everyone that Thief can still sell. And with that plug made, please join me as we go to tackle the Lost City. Here we are at the end of the Mage Towers. I've, as always, loaded the briefing cinematic into the playlist so you can view it there, if not at the beginning of this video. Let's peruse our objectives. The sealed entrance to the Lost City is supposed to be at the bottom of the river around here somewhere. Getting past that is the first step. The Lost City must have a lot of lost treasure in it. Pick up some. An expedition the Keepers sent once to map the Lost City never returned. They'll owe you a favor if you can recover the medallions from the remains. The Talisman of Fire was hidden in the Lost City long ago. Time for it to go. Finding the talisman is well and good, but you'll have to get back out for it to be worth it. And I don't think I talked too much about this during the Mage Towers. Obviously, if you're playing Thief the Dark Project instead of Thief Gold, the Mage Towers just won't exist, and you'll go straight to this mission from the Haunted Cathedral. If that's the case, you'll also have an objective to pick up the Talisman of Water. I will indicate where that can be done when I get to that point in the mission, but obviously it won't be there in Thief Gold. Let's go to the purchase screen. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to do something I usually don't do. I'm going to buy something. Here's the reason. Excuse me. This mission cannot be supremed. I can say that right off the bat. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You'll see why near the very beginning. Even if I skip this purchase, the Supreme Bust will happen fast. It's the spiders in the initial tunnel leading to the Lost City. You can't get past them without some engine manipulation, which is already a Supreme Bust. That said, the reason I like to buy this papyrus, the commission, is that it raises the total amount of loot available in the mission from, I believe, 2845 without it to 3205 with it. I want the masks to be worth something. I like buying the commission. I don't know, I just enjoy it. That's how I am. And it is possible to perfect Thief the mission under normal Ghost rules, even though we can't Supreme, so that's what we're gonna do. I am going to buy the commission, which means that I'll be able to pick up those 3 masks and get the full 3,205 loot out of this mission. So, with that done, let's begin. As always, begin by looking at our map. This is our map of the Lost City. It's rather cryptic, but I can tell you what everything means. This will turn out to be our entry point, although we don't know that yet. This is the library. I guess you can tell that by the scroll. This center place with the wheat is the market square. It is, in fact, sort of the central hub. Off to the east, you see, I'm not really sure what these buildings are supposed to be. Not this one, anyway. If I remember right, this is inaccessible anyway. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think you can get there. This building to the south turns out to be the Civic Center. I guess that you can sort of tell by that symbol. It's a manipulation of the usual symbol of justice and the balance scales. One of these, now all of a sudden I can't remember which is which. One of these is the King's Tomb, which we do end up needing to get to. This is pretty obvious, the arena. And this tower with the flame above it is where we end up finding the fire talisman. I can't quite remember what this building is either. Anyway, The map is pretty cryptic. It can be hard to decipher. It's honestly not that useful for finding your way around the Lost City, but it's there and it's fun to look at. You might have also noticed if you had to do the big escape at the end of Assassins, this area might be familiar to you. We start off in the home turf section of the city streets from that mission. So let's move right along. And almost immediately, we come to our first fancy little spot. We need to get over this wall. We only have one rope arrow to do it with. Obviously, I wasn't about to buy anything besides the commission, because, you know, that'd be cheating, in my mind anyway. But what we can do, what is possible, is to jump over the wall, turn fast enough to grab the rope arrow, and land on that carriage you can see over in the corner without any damage. Since I have it, let's read the papyrus. Sangar, let me know if you ever come across any good antiquities in your explorations. I'd be particularly interested in any ritual headdresses and masks. The gold and enamel work from Cyric is increasingly rare, and I needn't point out that if you ever found something dating back to the precursors, I'd make you a rich man, Bram Gervasius. Well, the masks we get happen to be from the precursors. So, let's try aiming for the crates instead. There we go. Retrieved the rope arrow, landed without damage. Now back here, you can find, I think, 2 broadhead arrows and a rope arrow. I won't be picking any of them up. Here, behind these crates, you can find a goblet for 25 and a plate worth 50, total 75. That's it in terms of loot, but here's the thing. We need to get back over the wall the same way we came over. Oh, oops. You see kind of where the texture changes, that dividing line? To the right of that is a viable rope anchor. To the left is not, so plant the rope arrow and bring a crate with you. You will need it. I guess it's also technically a Supreme Bust that we won't be able to put it back. The only reason we won't be able to put it back is because the mission will end before we can get all the way out here. So, I don't know if that's... Probably technically another Supreme Bust, but I'm not too worried about it. Make sure the crate didn't break. It didn't, and that's good. And now we can just focus on getting back over the wall. This jump is harder to make, but wow, I did them both on my first try. That has just about never happened for me. So, grab our handy crate. I'm gonna save with that bit done because that's usually a lot harder on me. I really can't believe I did it on my first try. But, there are no patrollers in this section of the city to worry about, by the way. So, as we head down here, you'll notice we have the portal key from the Haunted Cathedral, and you'll notice the cleft in the riverbank here. Put that in there, and the wall slides back. There's no way to reclose the wall, and we have to open it, so that doesn't bust anything. So once that's open, we can start swimming. This is all pretty straightforward. There are plenty of air patches along the way. You're in no real danger of drowning. Here's another one, which you'll want to refill your air at this juncture, by the way. If you are running out of air, there's another little pocket right here. I think they intended you to find it by those bubbles coming up out of the tunnel, but they don't exactly lead to the air pocket, so if that is the intent, they didn't do a very good job. But I digress. Alright. Now surface here, and then you're almost immediately going to want to dive back down. The reason for this, and I'll show you without saving, is the little pack of 3 spiders right here. It's possible to get by them without a first alert, but there are two tricks to doing it. First, it's almost... There is a way to just move between them. It's detailed on Litha.com, but there's an easier way to get by them without an alert. It's not to just straight up swim, though, because they'll hear you splashing, as you may have noticed. The trick is to get to the bottom and run along the bottom of the water, because that allows you to move more quietly, believe it or not. Now, I thought it was possible to make the mantle into the side tunnel. I'm pretty sure it is. Come on, Garrett. Oops. I didn't mean to let go of my handy crate. Let me do a little bit of experimenting just to find the mantle point. Oh my goodness. Mantling. Harder than it should be. Don't worry, I'm gonna reload. I'm just surveying my options, as it were. Oh, and it seems that taking that dive is not a good one. Alright, well, maybe I should try for Litha's method, because this is getting more complex, more difficult than I wanted. So, these guys aren't even the main issue. In terms of our ghost. Alright, well that was important. We need to creep up on these guys nice and slow. There are two places where we have to crate nudge, which is a trick I haven't done yet, but I'll demonstrate to you now. Now, remembering that unalerted spiders see with their butts, you see the problem almost immediately. This spider is facing that way, and the other two are facing that way. What we need to do, unfortunately, is nudge one of these guys out of the way so that he doesn't bother us anymore. We can do that. We put the crate on his head. See, he moved a little bit. He'll slide a little bit every time he turns. And it doesn't actually take that long, see? Because he turns pretty frequently. This is already another Supreme bust. I'm sorry, it can't really be helped. Oops. I have a different idea that might be a little easier, just in terms of timing. If I can get close enough to the homes here without triggering an alert. Not quite there yet. I think if we just push him over into that corner. Oh! That was a big move. Let's try again. Alright. Well, now that he's been moved, I think we can probably get by these other two with minimal issues. Alright, I'm getting a little gratuitous with the nudging here. Maybe I can get between these guys. No, that's a no. Maybe I need to move the homes a little bit further. That might do it. I just need to move this guy back from the light a little bit, if possible. That might be enough. If I can just squeak by him without having to enter that big patch of light, I should be good. Alright, let's try that. Supreme is already busted in lots of different ways, so I don't really care about racking up any more Supreme busts. Alright. Now the next trick is to get into the tunnel without making any noise. And hopefully whilst avoiding those chitters. I know it's possible. I might need to nudge the homes here even a little farther. Well, I don't really want him to go that way. I want him to move that way. There we go. Just to give me a little more breathing room. Alright, I think that should be enough. Maybe not. That should be enough. Let's hope. Which one is spotting me? That's what I would like to know. Anyway, these spiders. Pain in the ass. That much, at least, is obvious. Uh-oh. He squeaked the wrong way. Can't have that. Maybe one more. Ha! We pushed them all the way together. Check it. Alright. Let's try this. Alright, I think that was enough to give us room. Maybe not. Unbelievable. These little bastards are killing me. These little spiders will die in one hit of your sword. It's pretty clear the designers just intended you to get spotted and either fight them or run away. But, you know what? Fuck off, designers. That's not how I roll. Push them back a little further. Now, one thing that should be obvious is that we can't push them all the way off into the over the edge. Otherwise, they'll drown, and that will bust our regular ghost rules. Something I'm not too keen on doing. I also want to make sure I don't push them so far that they can see the other ledges. Like, see over the edge. So I have to be careful of that, too. But just trying to give myself some room. Alright, I'm really hopeful that that got it done. Let's find out. Ah! Son of a bitch! Little bastards do not give up. Okay, I'm getting impatient. I need to settle down. All right. Well, hello. Alright, let's see if that was enough. Probably not. Seems like it never will be. But I'm gonna accept a first alert from those pricks, because I just don't care anymore. Not about first alerts, anyway. As long as they don't take it to level 2. I swear. How far can they see? Okay. Enough of that shiz. Supreme busted like a boss, but regular Ghost is still intact. So you see... Oh, come on. Just shut up, assholes. Alright, so you see, he's pretty handily facing toward our exit. Thankfully, he's by himself. But... Oh. Let's see if we can get around him. Because he's not facing dead on, you might have noticed. But this room is very brightly lit, so we might have to resort to pushing him with the crate too. We'll see. Alright, so far so good. Oh, unbelievable. And you know, I should have resorted to taking a first alert long ago, because that's preferable to exploiting the engine. Neither of them are technically busts, but it does say engine exploits should be your last resort. So, I should have given up and taken the first alerts earlier, so I apologize for that. But... let's see if we can just shoot through here. Okay, not going slow. What if we run? Only a first alert. Good. Now let's slide down here. Nice and quiet. Repeat it here. And see, this is why I didn't want to push those guys too far. Now, here's where absolutely everyone admits you have no choice but to resort to crate nudging. We have to push the two little guys all the way down to the big one. And get somewhere where I can see him. Alright, there's a little nudge. Wrong direction. That'll work. There we go. You kind of want to push him. You do kind of want to push him into the other one because we end up having to move them both down the slope. I don't want to push him back up by mistake. All right. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, shoot. Okay, we can't have that. There we go. Can't have that. All this crate nudging is trial and error to a large extent, but we need to push both of the little spiders right down to where the big one is. The big one is no problem to sneak past in the position it starts in, for what that's worth. But once you get these two together, to the extent you can, you really want to push them straight down the tunnel. You don't want them to get too far out to either side. So like that. See, we can't have that. Don't really want that either. One nice thing, well, I don't know how nice it is. I think it's pretty nice. When we make our exit, the mission will end when we get back out to this platform. So we never have to see any of those spiders again. And thank goodness for that. Those guys were ticking me off. Oh, man. Keep on pushing them down. Too bad I don't seem to be getting any of those big jumps like I got from the guys upstairs, but... Uh-oh. Can't have you moving back up. Can't have you moving back up. Don't worry, I promise this mission gets much more straightforward once we get past all these stupid spiders. I do not want you to move back up. No. Bad spider. Bad spider. Don't go to the side either. Good, good, good. Again, more of that. Yes, good. Again, more of that. Oops. You can see why we need to do this, though. This whole tunnel completely lit. Bright red light, no shadows anywhere. If we tried to just go, if we ever tried to get past them, they would be on us. Oh no, he went too far, too far. Oops. Oops, one too many right clicks. Yeah, I'm gonna do a real save at this point, just because I think I should be able to get by them, but sort of with the push trajectory they're on, but they might be moving too far to the side, so I need to make sure I can keep pushing them down before I let them close the space on the side of the tunnel. That's a more accurate statement would be, as long as I can push them down, it doesn't matter if they go to this side, but I don't want to run out of room to force them down. We're getting close, though. Alright, stop skipping side to side and go down. There you go. Down the hill. Always down the hill. Maybe we can get by now. Let's see. Well, no, we can't. Thought I had more space there than I do. Maybe, I think I might be able to get by now. Okay, if I can get in and out with only first alerts, that's good enough for me. Alright. I can get in, I can get out with only first alerts. That's good. Now let's move on. Enough of that shiz. I am keeping the crate with me, but you'll be happy to know it isn't for nudging. It's for stacking later.
How can the keepers keep this place a secret?
This room right here has 2 goblets in it, bring our total to 105. And you'll notice right away the way the lights in here work. They turn on when you enter a room, they extinguish when you leave it, but the key is that they do it gradually. And they do it for any patroller, not just for you. Be mindful of that as you move through this mission. Anyway, once you have those goblets, that's it for the top floor of the library. So if you just go counterclockwise, you can get in behind that burrick and come on down the stairs. There's another single patrolling burrick down here. Well, we don't want to get spotted by him either. It's our own trick to stay hidden. Ironically, like any other mission, is to park right in a doorway. Doing that will keep the lights from turning on and let us sit in the darkness. But of course, if a patroller walks into the room, then the light will turn right back on. But can't really help that. If you're playing Supreme Ghost, you're pretty much going to have to skip this loot, but you can ghost this section, believe it or not. The trick is to take advantage of the fact that the lights turn on gradually and then deactivate gradually. Now we have one patrolling burrick, who even though we're pretty well lit, won't see us if we hide in this corner. He'll eventually come into this room walking from west to east, or left to right, and then he'll head back into the other room. And through the room to the left are 3 more burricks that aren't moving, that are just kind of parked watching that room. And past them is a bunch of loot that we want. So, what we want to do is sneak through that room. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to just get up and run for real. me go survey right quick. So when he heads back over, we're going to follow him. AI vision is now normal, meaning they see with the front of their heads. So when he leaves that way, we got to sprint through here without triggering a full alert. And see, moving fast enough, we were able to do that. Now him, I don't know how to avoid. Okay, can't do that. I wonder. Oh, he'll go right past us. That's good. So clear of those guys. Can roll back into here. Get a diamond, a necklace, and a goblet. Brings our total to 345, and we'll read the scroll. Banir has been informed that you ordered the sacrosanct parchments moved to the archives beneath the great temple palace, lest they be destroyed by the angry and fiery breath of the earth. On the morrow's eve, we shall move ourselves there as well. Do not tarry. Get back up there. Oh. Okay, maybe I'll have to wait for him down here. Hard to say. This is harder. But it's done on the first try. No problem. Alright. That's how you do that. For the longest time, I thought you just had to get in a fight with those guys or alert them and run around them, but it is fully possible to move through there with no alert, well, with no hunting alerts at all, which is great. I'm just going to wait for this other Burrick to pass by, and then I'm going to read that Keeper Journal. Despite hardships, I have welcomed this opportunity to study the city of the Precursors. Their society was remarkable, stratified like the bedrock and seemingly as stable. Above all was the Emperor, a divine figure answerable to none but their gods. Emperors were seldom seen by the common people, and this distance gave rise to a powerful and politically charged bureaucracy. The last emperor but one, Vatarak, seems to have been different, an unprecedented man of the people. And take a break, drink some Pepsi Max there, excuse me. Anyway, head out of the library, get a bit of a break here, we're safe for the moment. Nab this diamond over in the corner. It's only worth 50, brings our total to 395. And head out into the city. So here we are, we're clear of the library.
Home?
That's one of Garrett's best lines in the game, in my humble opinion. But anyway, you'll note we are clear of the library in the city proper, with Supreme busted 8 ways to Sunday, but Ghost intact and with all the loot. Lean in through this window, grab that goblet worth 25, brings our total to 420. Up on that roof is a fire arrow if you want it. You can follow this Burrick until you get to this T-junction. Go up the stairs inside this building. Find a plate. Brings our total up to 470. It's worth 50. Now the area we're getting to has fire elementals and Burricks. The fire elementals will annihilate the Burricks, and as long as we don't encourage a fight, like by trying to get them to run into each other, excuse me, the fact that they fight and get highly alerted doing so doesn't qualify as a bust. I should mention, if you want to head north there, you can get, I think, a total of 6 fire arrows from the various buildings. I have no interest in fire arrows, so I will take the south fork into an area with several patrolling Burricks. Okay, this building doesn't have anything. Plenty of good hiding shadows inside all of these burnt out buildings. So you see a stationary Burrick right there. We have to be careful of. I think we can get into this building without annoying him. Pick up that tiara, which brings our total to 570. Wait for the patroller to leave again. Now, whether or not the fight starts all depends on the timing of that Burrick's patrol. It's quite possible for him to run into the fire elementals and get into a fight. We obviously need to be careful of the guy down below us, but I'm going to make sure he stays put. I'm going to slide down onto this balcony and head into these caves and away from all those Burricks. And to me, that's worth a real save. Whew. Spent a lot of time messing around with those stupid spiders. The rest is going to go pretty fast, comparatively. And here, for the first time, you see the fire elementals. Now, the main issue I have with these guys, much like the Burricks, it's almost impossible to tell when they first alert. Or, for that matter, when they second alert. The only really obvious thing is when they've spotted you because they start shooting fireballs at you. But you can kind of hear their fire noise get a little bit louder, and I don't know exactly how to describe it when they go into search mode. But a first alert from a fire elemental, I don't even know if they do anything. So, when those guys are away, you want to mantle up here. Oh, I forgot about the third one. Oops. You'll note that this area isn't all that dark. So, you need to watch the fire elemental in there. Wait for him to be headed that way. And then jump across. Make sure he's still just idly floating around, not in search mode. I think we're good. Yes, we're good. Alright, so over here in this building, you can find a quiver full of broadhead arrows if you want it. Down here, that giant moss arrow is 10 moss arrows, with another little moss arrow next to it. If you move into the middle building here, you can find another necklace, which brings our total to 720. And the last building there has a fire arrow in the doorway. So, again, keeping an eye on the fire elemental. To get back out, we want to use this wall and just hop right over. Except, obviously, we don't want to do that. I'd like to mantle if I could, because it allows me to be silent. Okay, you heard him start making noise there. That's a fire elemental going into search mode. This may not have been a good spot to get into. Oh, I see. That's the trick. Land on that little soft patch so you can get out without making any noise. Alright, another save. Let's roll on down here. Being wary of the roaming elementals, who, I was going to say, almost certainly saw us just then. And I think there's a way we can squeak around some of the business if we go back here instead. Oh, now they're moving all slow. What up with that? I mean, you're safe back here as long as nothing has seen you. Alright. Just gonna pop in here and read this. Dear Melu, the city is too grand for this unworthy country lass. I visited the Emperor's Colosseum. Such a spectacle! The Colosseum is bigger than our village. The cheer is deafening when they extend the bridge from below the royal balcony. Great doors open and the combatants enter the battlefield, a raised island in the middle of the arena. Hundreds of magical fires float on the surface of the water. I saw there a gladiator who wrestled with a pair of lions, and the Emperor's son himself tossed him a bag of gold. I will tell you more later, but Cherok calls. Naza. Leave that where it is. And roll on through here while the fire elementals are gone. Just keep moving through here. Oh, I realized what this building actually is. I had called it the Civic Center, but I'm pretty sure it's actually a theater, because there's a stage inside. Anyway. This nice shadowed area is worth a real save. Before I head in there, I'm gonna head this way and tackle the King's Tomb. Okay, yes, the bird symbol is the King's Tomb. Well, it's all the tombs. The King's Tomb is over at the end, and it's where we're headed. Make sure you don't fall off. I'll have to go all the way back here to mantle up again. There are no patrollers or elementals yet, but get ready, because you'll run into mages soon enough. If you're playing Thief Dark Project instead of Thief Gold, you'll encounter Craymen instead of mages here. And anyway, can't have that. Oops. So this guy walks in a pretty tight little circle around those remains we can see from here. And we need to get that stuff. Just be careful and get in behind him and get to some shadows.
What have we here?
Yeah, so if you get over to that edge, you can run along it without getting into the lava. Let's make sure he can't see us here. Good. Now, as you look at the remains, you can find a fire arrow, a rope arrow, a scroll, a medallion, which we need, and a purse. Just get in when his back is turned. I'm going to get the medallion and the purse, and I'm going to read the scroll. Oops. Come on, Garrett. Let the tomb be dug deep into the earth and filled with all manner of things which are pleasing to serve him in his nether days. Splendor shall follow our beloved monarch to mark his glory, and woe to those who would disturb his sleep. They shall be imperiled from below, from above, and from that which is directly before their eyes. Make sure you stay behind him. Nab the purse, brings our loot total to 790. Nab the medallion, and I'm going to get out and wait before I go back in to read the Keeper Journal. We've been careful to avoid the roaming elementals throughout our sojourn, but today we've taken a serious blow. From out of nowhere, a number of them assaulted the troop. We fended them off with our remaining supply of water crystals, but the price was heavy. Hodge was severely burned and may not live through the night. Both Yanis and Abner are dead. Hodge died this morning. I tried desperately to care for him, but to no avail. He was delirious and gibbering, and he cried out in pain, clawing the abysmal ground beneath him. I tried to calm him, but when he grabbed my hair and pulled my ear close to his lips, he said but one thing before expiring: burning water. So you need to get on this edge, run over to this corner, skip the gas arrow, but get the silver nugget, which brings our loot total to 840. Now be careful, obviously, not to slip into the lava here. Your best bet is just to circle all the way around, get up onto the tombs, and reapproach the mage the way we did at the start. Like so.
There's disturbance. Sweet silence returns.
I'm not that invested in avoiding first alerts anymore, but I'd like to take a few tries just to see if it's possible. Hopefully he won't see me here. Nope. So let's just creep through here and head straight to those stairs up in front of us. I think I already said this, but if you're not playing Thief Gold, if you're instead playing Thief the Dark Project, there will not be mages here. You'll instead have to deal with Craymen.
I shall build shelters from the wind. What vision disturbs me?
I shall build shelters from the winds, feel the countless waters, see the vast earth, and burn eternal fires. I shall walk the path till my return to the eternal fire. Is it
Who
over
troubles
there?
this place?
The wind plays tricks with my senses.
Wonder if I can avoid that alert by hopping the wall. Probably not. But maybe. Boom! What do you know, it worked. Alright. Now be careful here, because you can run smack into a patrolling mage. But he's headed away from me right now, which is good. So you want to wait in this shadow until you see him heading up out of the tomb. By the way, you might have seen it, but as you face the entrance to the tomb, the door on the right had or the torch on the right had a fire arrow sitting in it. Anyway, need to cross here, so shoot a rope arrow into the farthest beam, jump through. Hopefully Garrett can win at mantling for once in his miserable life on the next attempt. Onto the rope, through there, retrieve the rope, move into the tomb. So I guess that was our peril from below. Now there's a fake tomb in there that doesn't have anything in it. Don't really know what that is. As you move through here, seeing this dead mage should tip you off. Now, Supreme Ghosters can't even go into this room because that trap triggers no matter what. But you can crawl right under it. There's some water arrows, 3 in total underneath that guy. But yeah, Supreme Ghosters can't even cross this room because it triggers that trap with the invisible tripwire. So, there's a lot of stuff in here. We're gonna have to accept some first alerts to loot this area, but that should just be
I
fine.
shall build shelters from the winds. Feel the countless. The winds are not at peace.
I shall walk the path.
I shall build shelters from the winds. Feel the countless waters. See the
Now here's the one thing I wonder. There's one entrance to the Lost City. It was sealed with the key that I used to get in. How did these guys get in here? That's what I would like to know. Now you see there the lever,
Fire burns.
which is the key that we can use.
I warn you.
Well, I'm not actually going to go after it because that's a key that opens a bridge over in the Colosseum area. The designers intended us to use it, but the problem is that using it the way they intended will bust our ghost. There's no way to get across that bridge without getting a search alert from the mage who's guarding it. So I'm just going to skip the lever. I'll show you how to not use it and keep ghost intact. Oh, excuse me. I keep yawning. It's early. I'm sorry. But I've got class this afternoon, so if I want to get this mission done, I have to do it in the morning. Anyway.
Shakes. Water flows.
So you see the statue over there. And you've probably heard a couple of mages who are hanging out in that room across the hall.
The wind plays tricks with my senses. I shall build shelters from the winds.
Now,
The countless waters.
that statue brings our, or urn, I guess, whatever you want to call it, brings our loot total to 940. We were able to get it with only first alerts, which is what we want. Oh, wait until our patroller's not a concern.
Over there.
I call upon the elements.
Be still.
Okay, let's get upstairs first.
There, my friend. A disturbance. Twas a false vision.
That was also only a first alert, which is good. Wait for him to pass by again. Now, run into their
It would be
room.
wise.
I know that we can, in fact, run into their room and only get first alerts.
There is a disturbance. All is still.
So you have to get that tapestry from the corner and the two, whatever, they look sort of like urns from the corner. Brings our loot total to 1130. And finally, it bears mentioning that if you're playing Thief the Dark Project, this tomb houses the Talisman of Water.
Is this a vision?
Make sure that was only a first alert.
Sweet silence return.
It was. Good. There will be a pool of water over in that back room, and the water talisman will be floating at the end of it.
See the vast earth.
If you're playing Thief Gold like me, there's nothing in there. Anyway, with the loot total 1130, the King's Tomb is done. We've triggered traps, we've gotten first alerts. But that's it. So Ghost is intact, and we have all the loot. Make sure you crouch, because the trap will trigger again on your way out. All that's left is to leave. Same way you came in. Be wary of the patrolling water mage. Shoot the rope arrow into the farthest rafter so you can retrieve it on your way out. And get up to this alcove and wait for him to pass us, heading down this time. Hurry past him because his patrol down there is pretty short. Get back out of here. I don't think we can get out the way we came in. We're gonna have to take the stairs.
Look, over there.
Presents itself.
And I don't think we can do that without more first alerts.
Vision.
So, yeah, what can you do? Wait for the fire mage to be headed away from us. Probably get a couple more first alert comments from those mages. Or not. Oh, there it was. I knew it had to happen. He didn't hear me? Good. Now, run all the way back to the theater. Whee! Alright. So if you don't mind an alert, you should probably grab the lever out of the King's Tomb, just because it's obviously what the designers intended. You'll have to deal with an angry mage when you use it to get out of the arena, one way or another. What he does is he stares at the bridge and doesn't move. So I think their fairly obvious intention was for you to blackjack him. But we can't do that if we're ghosting, so... Oh. As you get here, to this little fork, be wary of potentially patrolling fire elementals as you head down into the theater stage. And since we bought the commission, we can grab these two masks, worth $120 each, which brings our total to $13.70. This room is blessedly empty now. When you're back here in Thief 2, it's a wholly different story. So those masks are worthless without the commission. They'll just be junk items like a crate that you can pick up and drop. But head to the right here. If you squeak under there, you can find 2 fire arrows. Out in the foyer is some loot we need, but I'm not going to go after it just yet. I'm going to read this scroll first. A speech given by Master Ruitan to the Guild of Enlightenment. The priests tell the ignorant that the earth is crying for her departed brother Va-Tarak. We know that these tremors signify something more ominous. Tarak would have listened to us and evacuated the city, but his son is less enlightened. The guild must protect what we can by whatever magical and mundane means we possess. The tower must not fall. I should have, instead of staring like an idiot, being dumbfounded, I should have clued in that that light turning on meant that the patroller was headed my way. Sometimes I really do forget how to play. My brother is very fond of telling me to L to P. Learn to play. Anyway, if you can get out into the foyer, these corners, although they're tense, are a good hiding spot from the elementals. So, just watch for gaps in their patrols, move around this room, and pick up these big sapphires. There are 23 total. They're worth 15 each. That's 5. Follow this guy. Uh-oh. I thought he was moving in a circle. My bad. That's 10. Maybe they're random. They might be random. That's 13. 10 to go. 9. Don't miss the one on the floor. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, good. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Brings our loot total to 1715. And when you have all of those, just come right back out. That's one way, incidentally, to tell whether a fire elemental is in search mode or not. If he's in search mode and he brushes up against you like he did to me, it'll damage you, just the proximity. But if he's not in search mode, he won't. Hey, let's read that journal. We must soon find a supply of water here in the city. The heat from the magma is dehydrating us too quickly. Our water crystals have been saved for emergencies, but we may soon be forced to rely on them. Hopefully the tower is not much farther. Hopefully we have not much further to go to the tower. Hope springs eternal, keepers. Alas, 'twas not to be. Let's see. You wanna head up here. Angle this way and head up this ramp. We are now approaching the Colosseum, which has far and away the most loot of any one location in the game. That bottom building has 3 fire arrows in it, if you're interested. And the dark roof corner of that one has 2 water arrows. This area is empty now, but it will populate with fire elementals after we get the talisman and are on our way back out. Over there are 4 more water arrows for the interested. This area is blessedly empty now. So you can just hop across stepping stones and finally arrive at the Colosseum. Half of it anyway. Now this area is also staffed with mages. Let's take this left here. Grab that tiara, which brings our total to 1815. There's a patroller around somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where he goes. But moving into this room, pick up 3 artifacts, I guess, whatever you want to call them, from the ground. Brings our total to 1875. Oh, and I should have mentioned a long time ago, we found our entrance to the Lost City. That's still our only ticked objective. But as you move through here, find more little artifacts. Brings our loot total to 1935. If you run in here, you find 3 more artifacts. Brings our total to 1995, and the tapestry in the corner, or whatever that is, brings our total to 2145, which is sufficient to satisfy our loot objective. That's good news. back in this room where I left the crate, if you head over to this alcove in the corner and climb down the ladder, you find another tapestry, 3 more artifacts. The chest has a ring, which brings our loot total all the way up to 2405. And here's some reading material. From Secretary of Protocol Waitan to Keeper of the Keys Fuquan, it is spoken that Va-Toran has closed the Colosseum for reasons other than piety. In a year and a day of mourning, Toran may devise a way to make money from the building, as cheering crowds were to his father as the clink of coins to Toran. To enter the key with Va-Torak is genius. None will touch it, yet should it serve, it can be lost to grave robbers. Our new master is wily. This humble servant fears for Kareth Din. Anyway, with that done, bounce right back up here. Now, if you head down these stairs, that's where you can use the lever to extend the bridge if you're interested in doing it. There's also a gas arrow, a healing potion, and a fire arrow down there. But since we don't want to use the bridge, and I'll explain why in a moment, we don't care. I guess no one moves in here after all. I could have sworn someone was patrolling. Maybe I'm confusing it with Kidnap and Thief 2. Well, someone moves upstairs. So, our issue is this guy. The bridge extends right in front of him, and the obvious problem
till my return to the eternal fire
is taking the bridge. Can't be done without a second alert. So, the lever and the bridge are useless to ghosters. Before we head out of here, we need to get upstairs. There's plenty of loot up there too. Wait until everything's quiet and get to a shadow. Head south first, then west. In this room, you can find a tiara and 2 more of these things. Brings our total to 2570. And then if you come in here, you can find another tapestry, 2 more of those things, which brings our total to 2760. My crate's down on the first floor, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, good. And then over here, if you have the commission, is a 3rd mask. Which brings our total to 2880. And you want to slide down silently, just like that. Head back out to where we walked in. Now, I mentioned that the problem was that the mage will second alert if we take the bridge. So, what we're gonna do instead is get a little extra height with our crate, and you can just run and jump and mantle right onto that central platform. It's tough, but it's possible. Maybe I shouldn't use the crate. Okay, it seems like I shouldn't use the crate after all. So I'll just leave it there. But I need better luck with the mantle itself. So I'll leave the crate right there for now. If you do it this far away from him, he'll only first alert, which is what we're after for our ghost. So, clear of the arena, we move on. Ay, ay, ay. Down through all this. Now, I believe there's a roving fire elemental, and there's no predicting where it'll be when we arrive, so just be careful. Save when you get a chance. Over here are 5 more water arrows, and I think there's a rope arrow in the campsite too. Yeah, 3 rope arrows actually. But here is the second medallion, which ticks off that objective. And a journal. We had just come upon a tall and sturdy tower, and it was agreed upon that we should deposit the talisman there. The staircase to the top floor had collapsed some time ago, which made ascension difficult. Eric had pointed out the ledge circling the tower, suggesting that one of us place the talisman there. I laughed at his comment uncaringly. This disturbs me. Tomorrow we shall head back the way we came. I cannot keep myself from wondering why the burning elementals stood at bay as we passed. Will they still, now that we no longer carry the talisman of fire? The answer is no. And if you're wondering if the fire elementals will leave us alone after we get the talisman, the answer is also no. In fact, a bunch more of them are going to spawn in and make sneaking out a lot harder than sneaking in was. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Creepy.
Indeed, it is creepy, Garrett. Someone at LGS was a fan of Lovecraft. Anyway, there are 2 silver nuggets in this building. Brings our loot total to $29.80. Be careful sneaking out. Well, not really sneaking, because there's nothing around. You can see a rope arrow in the ceiling of this, or a rafter in the ceiling of this building. You can use a rope arrow and hop on up. Hop across there, mantle onto the roof, and grab the diamond. Brings our loot total to $30.30. Because you revisit this map in Thief 2, only this time it's heavily populated with mechanists and their various creations. I keep getting confused about where patrols are going to be. Some of the hardest areas in Thief 2 are completely empty in this game. Anyway, you want to squat down here and be careful as you try to get to the tower itself, because there's some elementals outside. I think it's 2 right now, and 2 more spawn in after you have the talisman. Maybe it's 2 and 1. I don't know. Maybe it's even 3 and 4. I don't know for sure.
So, this is the lost city. It's not lost no more.
Just wait for an opening and get to the tower. Run on up. Here on the second floor are the last 2 pieces of loot, a tapestry and a goblet. Brings our total to $32.05. Ghost intact. Perfect thief. Read the scroll. Fire rains upon us from the sky. At the temple of Enlahotep, 4 hallowed geldings were offered to appease the acrimonious earth. The sanguine overture has done nothing to pacify her. You'll notice that this staircase is collapsed, so we gotta go out the window.
It's a long way down.
Head all the way around. Put a rope arrow in the middle rafter. Climb on up. Hop in. Get your arrow back. There's nothing in there, I don't think, or maybe it's a healing potion. I can't remember exactly what. And I could also still be confused with Thief 2. Anyway, here's the talisman. Nab that bad boy. Now, we gotta get out. Get back down to the bottom of the tower. And get ready to deal with all the new extra elementals. Now let me show you our exit. It's not the way we came in. See that cave? It's possible to get to it if you make an excellent jump. The extra elementals spawn in, making noise, and being dangerous. Anyway, it's possible to make that jump. We just have to execute it right. So they aren't they aren't in search mode. They're on their regular patrol routes. I had missed that fifth elemental anyway. We don't have an opening yet. You can see me almost making this jump a lot. It is possible. It's far and away the best way out. Oh, we were gonna have it. Oh, but we need to wait for that elemental to turn around anyway, or he's gonna see us. Okay. Perfect! Oh, that was brilliant, if I do say so myself. Nicely done, Garrett. Let's go grab our crate right quick, so we can at least carry it out with us. I can also show you how the area has populated. I may just leave the crate there, take the Supreme Must. It's the Supreme Must anyway, since I can't get it back, so. Okay, he did in fact see me and go into search mode, so. I could have sworn I saved closer. Oh well. He may have seen us. I don't know. Anyway, let me just show you how many extra elementals there are. I am going to leave the crate behind. Now there's one in here. There's one here. There's one in the area with the creepy statue, and there are two more outside the tower. Our crate's just gonna have to stay in here. We can't put it back anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. So anyway, with that neat little jump, we've made it out to the main market square. There's one new elemental here, but he patrols the same route as the others, and it's not very difficult to avoid. Do I hear Burricks? Yes. We're back at the beginning, almost. Descend here. Cut through here. Idly realize that the Burricks have managed to avoid ticking off the fire elementals the entire mission. Good for them. Wait here for him to pass. Get back into the library. Forget that one last new elemental has spawned in at the library. But we can get past him if we're just, you know, aware that he's there and are careful. I just completely forgot about him. Oh, but he went into search mode there. Run. That's search mode. Let's watch his patrol a little more carefully. Seems randomized. Well, isn't that spiffy? I'm just gonna wait until he's clearly moving away and then make my sprint. Okay, good. I have two more Burricks to get past. Got by number one, no trouble. Oops. I got his directionality wrong. Let's head this way. Should get by the other one with equally little trouble. Head out the way you came in. So, far and away, the hardest thing about ghosting this mission is the stupid spiders at the very start. Have to resort to crate nudging to get by them. And one last time, let's get out with nothing but first alerts. And wait for the mission to end. Alright. There are all our objectives. Boom, 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 boom. Found total time 1 hour, 28 minutes, 27 seconds. Found 3205 loot out of 3205. 0 locks picked, 0 backstab, 0 knockouts. No damage dealt or taken, no healing taken, nothing and no one killed. Campaign total so far, 24 hours, 46 minutes, 33 seconds. 22,346 loot so far. That remains all the loot, by the way. Total damage dealt, 20. Training mission, and received 0. So for that mission, we had to resort to crate nudging, and that's a supreme bust. We triggered a trap in the King's Tomb. That's a supreme bust. We left the crate in the arena. That's a supreme bust. And we got first alerts 8 ways to Sunday from the spiders at the entrance, the mages in the King's Tomb, and those are all supreme busts as well. But the good news is we successfully ghosted the mission, and obviously we did so finding all the loot, so that gives us Perfect Thief intact. Oh, and I also first alerted the Burricks in the basement of the library. I should mention that too. So, Perfect Thief in the Lost City, done and done. I will see you next time for Song of the Caverns, another bonus Thief Gold mission that doesn't exist in Dark Project. If you're playing Dark Project, you can still watch Song of the Caverns to see what you're missing, and you can join us in Undercover for missions that are relevant to you. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.